a quick video to help you with inequalities. Okay, so this is the first question that comes up on MathsWatch, and you have to say what is the inequality shown. So the first thing to remember is that there are 4 different kinds of inequalities. That means less than, okay, greater than. So less than, greater than. And then we can also have less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. So less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. Okay, so if we look at the number line here, this is a bar. This line shows us the inequality, and we can see that it starts from -4 and goes up to -5. So basically, it can be any number between -4 and 5. So the easiest way to do these questions is to start by simply putting in the 2 numbers below the dots. So you've got -4 and 5 here, okay? We know it's in between there. We use x, like we often do in algebra, to represent the numbers that it can be. And then all we have to do is decide which of these signs goes in between the -4 and the x, and between the x and the 5, okay? If it is a circle which is not coloured in, then it's going to be less than or greater than, okay? If it's coloured in, it's one of these 2. And the way I remember that is because it takes more ink to colour in a circle, and it takes more ink to draw one of these, less ink to not colour in a circle, and less ink to write one of these. So when you have 2 numbers with an x in the middle, it's always either less than or equal to, okay? So it's always pointing that way, okay? So we've got no colouring in, so it's going to be less than, and we've got this dot which is coloured in, so this side will be less than or equal to, okay? And that means that -4 is less than the number, and the number is less than or equal to 5. So -4, it can't be -4, it's got to be, -4 has got to be less than x, so it starts at -3, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it can include 5 because it can be less than or equal to 5, okay? So if we look at this one, second one, we've got an inequality -2 is less than n is less than or equal to 6. So if we look at just the -2 is less than n there, okay, if we go back to our number line for a moment, if -2 is less, then it will start at -1, okay, because -2 is smaller than n. So the next number up from -2 is -1. So we know it's going to start on -1. So it's either got to be, grab a highlighter, it's either got to be this one or this one, because they both start on -1. Okay, and then it says it's less than or equal to 6, which means it will go all the way up to 6 and include 6. So which one of these goes all the way up to 6? Well, they both do. They both end on 6, but one of them has a 0 missing, and we also include 0. Okay, so therefore it must be this one. Okay. Let's just look at another one here. So if we just remember what we did the previous time, this is question 3. Write down the 2 numbers, -2, 8, put an x in the middle, okay? And then we've got a coloured in dot. Remember, if we've got 2 numbers, they always go in this direction. Okay, we've got a coloured in dot here, so it's got to be this one. And we've got a not coloured in dot here, so it's got to be this one. Okay, you could work question 4 out in a similar way. This time they're both coloured in, so that will tell you which one of these to use. Okay, let's just look quickly at one of these ones. So this time is slightly different because you've got an arrow. Okay, so the numbers are basically everything above this number here. Okay, but you could go on forever and ever. There's no end point because we don't have another dot on the number line. So same thing, if we think, start by writing down the number, okay, except this time we're only going to have one symbol, and it's not coloured in, so it's either going to be less than or greater than. Okay, so if we look at the numbers are going up. Okay, so this suggests that n or x is bigger than 3. Okay, so we can write that as x is greater than 3. Okay, if we wrote x is less than 3, that would suggest that the numbers were going that way, pointing to the numbers that are smaller than 3. So we don't want that one, we want greater than 3. And the reason there's no equal sign underneath is because this is not coloured in. Okay, so hopefully that will help you with the rest of the questions. Okay, so remember, if the dot is not coloured in, then it's either this one or this one. If it is coloured in, it's going to be this one or this one. Okay, if we have two numbers with a line in between, then we write it in this form. We write two numbers, then the x in the middle, and then we decide if it's less than or equal to. Okay, but two numbers, the inequalities will always point in this direction. Okay.